Hi, my name is Val and I love to talk about interior decor and design. And today I want to teach you how to get the right amount of that lived-in look in your home. And yes, my hair is wet, but you know what? We're going to be talking about coziness, so might as well go all in with the theme. Even if you're just slightly interested in interior design, I'm sure you see a lot of what's meant to be inspirational photos and videos online of pristine, sleek, entirely uncluttered spaces that look as if no one lives there and a team of 50 housekeepers clean it every hour. I think we all know deep down inside that these are not realistic images, yet I do think we sometimes try to emulate this subconsciously, and that's what I want to get into today. I myself have a hard time leaving out anything that isn't technically supposed to be there when guests come over, even if it's just one close friend coming to my house. However, a too tidy and too perfect home can actually make guests feel uncomfortable, like they're afraid to relax on your sofa and disturb the beautifully fluffed pillows, or they don't know where to put their drink because they don't see any other cups sitting anywhere or any coasters out. At the same time, people can also feel uncomfortable if your home is too messy. It can be overstimulating and stressful to look at clutter, especially if it's someone else's, and you don't want guests to have to move things out of the way to use your space either. And put guests aside for a second, the same sensations apply to you. You don't want to be overstimulated, and at the same time, you don't want your space to look too perfect because you'll be afraid to do anything with it and actually enjoy it. So today I want to talk about how to show that you actually live in your home without it being too overwhelming. Side note, obviously you should live in your home however you want and need to, and it will constantly fluctuate between being disorganized and being very tidy at varying degrees. This is not to make anyone feel bad or to judge anyone when their home is genuinely messy, because life happens. We've all been there. Also, everyone's definitions of messy and tidy can be very different. However, my home decor videos are for people who want to improve or build on their design, and in this case, this is just to talk about how to show that you actually live in your home in a comfy, cozy, inviting kind of way for both yourself and your guests. First off, and this is something you should always keep in mind, is that natural materials always look better. Leaving out a nice glass or a ceramic mug can evoke a sensation of coziness because someone enjoyed a nice beverage there, whereas plastic cups or certain very trendy water bottle collections, Stanley people, why? They just don't evoke the same feeling, and that's a truth you sadly cannot get around. If you can, try to prioritize cleaning up your children's cups before your own, as well as their toys if they're not playing with them. And for the love of God, put the water bottles away. You are in your house, you have other drinkware available to you. That thing is for when you're out and about. Also, there's a big difference between a mug that was handmade, or at least looks like it was handmade, and your very generic Starbucks cup or whatever it may be. But that's just a personal preference. Similarly, paper looks and feels a lot better than digital. Having a whole bunch of devices or their cables lying around can evoke a stressful feeling because, honestly, these kind of devices are the furthest we can get from coziness. So it's best to use cable management ties, boxes, etc., and maybe store away as many of your devices as you can, except for maybe your phone or something. Instead, leaving out magazines, newspapers, or books can read a lot cozier. I'm sorry. But I'm not even talking about those curated stacks of coffee table books, but just whatever you're reading at the moment. A little Sally Rooney, a little Heated Rivalry, David Foster Wallace. I don't know, what are we reading nowadays? But yeah, leaving paper items around is always better than digital. Just maybe not all of your bills that came in the mail. That can probably evoke stressful feelings too. All right, last one for the living room. While I am not a fan of the throne blanket look, blankets that are folded too neatly, too perfectly, or tucked away in a basket can make guests and sometimes even yourself feel like you shouldn't grab them to be comfortable. I am guilty of this. I am cold in my living room all the time when I'm by myself because heat is expensive and I'm living that struggle life. Subscribe if you want to help out with that. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I rarely grab my blankets because they're just placed so perfectly. And I feel like they're not even a blanket anymore that's supposed to be used to keep me warm. Instead, they're just decorational pieces, and that doesn't make any sense. So let's not do that. The same goes for fluffed or chopped pillows or couch cushions. My couch cushions tend to shift over time when people sit on them, when they relax on them. So I do readjust them every other week or so to kind of make sure they don't lose their shape. But I also really like seeing them a little imperfect because it means that somebody, either me or a friend or even the cat, just relaxed into that seat. And that's a good feeling.
Either me or a friend or even the cat.
All right, moving on to the bedroom already. I am a firm believer in making your bed every morning. It's a clear signal to your brain that you're starting the day. You begin with something productive that provides satisfaction immediately, and you're less likely to crawl back in when you're not supposed to. Also, should a guest have to maybe be in your bedroom for any reason, maybe that's the only place you have a bathroom, it can feel like an unmade bed can feel a little bit too intimate, as suddenly your guests are confronted with the fact that you sleep there and maybe you also get up to other activities. So let's not leave the bed messy. However, the famous chair with the clothes piled on is perfectly fine, or having some reading glasses, a mug, etc. on your nightstand, maybe some jewelry out on your vanity. These are all pretty nice looking items and they don't take up too much space. In the kitchen, try not to leave any food out except for maybe a fruit bowl, baked goods, and obviously if you've prepared a snack for your guests. Anything else like cereal boxes, chips bags, sodas, etc. should be put away. As well as dirty dishes, obviously, except for, again, maybe some glasses and mugs. If you do leave those out, I recommend pushing them all the way against the wall or the backsplash, or if they're on an island, at least gather them all to one side so you still have workspace and, an actual spot to pour your guests a drink if they want one. Aside from that, washed pots and pans on the stove are perfectly fine. If I fried an egg today and then washed the pan, I'm not gonna put the pan away if I'm gonna make another egg tomorrow. It can live on the stove. It's fine. It's not a big deal. I also don't mind some appliances. Just make sure they take up less than, I would say, a third of your counter space. So I just have my air fryer out there and my electric kettle, and the microwave lives on the other side of the kitchen. So I think that's about enough, but obviously, whatever you use a lot, you can leave out. I also don't really mind crumbs or water drops or things like that, but obviously, if you spill something that's actually dirty, you should clean it up. Besides, I couldn't leave anything dirty on my counter anyway because my cat would clean it up for me. In a bathroom, I don't think every towel needs to be perfectly folded or hung a certain way, especially if it's the towel that you're supposed to dry your hands with. It should just be easy to grab and in reach. Actually, the same goes for tea and hand towels in the kitchen as well. I don't really mind a cup of toothbrushes being out, or obviously a little hand soap. And then when it comes to skincare, makeup, hair care, whatever it may be, I would suggest a maximum of 5 total products per sink. So that's a maximum of 10 if you live together and you got the double sink, the double vanity. Good for you, living luxuriously. And then there's, of course, a couple of tools such as an electric toothbrush, an electric shaver, hairstyling tools. I would keep those to a maximum of 2 per sink. So why are these the magic numbers? Because my gut says so, and this is my video. Now, an office can depend greatly on personal preference because some people love a whole bunch of notes and papers and pictures around them to draw ideas from, while others cannot function if there's anything unnecessary on their desk. One basic guideline is to at least not have any non-work related clutter visible from your desk. Like currently, I have some clothes that I wanted to sell, and this was the best room to take pictures in, but I stored them all the way over there so that neither you nor I can see it when I'm sitting here, so it doesn't cause a little stress from the fact that I still haven't taken the pictures yet and I'm procrastinating. It also helps to have a bigger desk than you actually need for your computer, monitor, keyboard, whatever it may be. I keep any clutter I don't want away on the edges of the desk, but if you can't fit a bigger desk, maybe hanging a shelf above it could help, where you could put things like your beautiful glass or ceramic mug. I'm going to keep bringing back to those. Maybe some plants and other things like that. Also, again, cable management, very important. All right, lastly, and this one's a bit more general, but make sure there is always room to add any extra stuff in the moment. That means that coffee and side tables have enough space to add any extra cups. And yes, I'll stop talking about the cups right now. But also your coat rack should have enough room for any extra coats, gloves, scarves, etc. You should have, like I said, enough freed counter space to prepare an impromptu snack, these kind of things. If you have to move a bunch of items around to do anything unplanned, you probably have too much out. If you can, it helps to corral stuff. And if you're not familiar with that term, it means to kind of gather them together, like I kind of mentioned before with the kitchen, but preferably on or in something like a bowl or even on a book if it's something dry and clean. And it'll just kind of play a trick with your mind that makes you think instead of 5 different items, there's just one big item out. For example, you can put all your loose kitchen items on top of a cutting board. You can put unlit candles on top of a coffee table book, or you can put a whole bunch of keys in a bowl. Actually, I think that was very popular at parties in the 70s, but maybe that's a topic for another time. All right, so in summary, not everything has to be perfectly straightened, folded, adjusted, centered, etc. This can actually make you and your guests hesitant to use anything and relax in your space. Organic materials will always look better than synthetic ones, especially plastic. Now, I don't want to get into the discussion of bright colors versus neutral colors, but you can base that on the rest of your home. Store anything away that is actually dirty, very personal, or has a negative connotation. With smaller items, try to stick to the ones you really use very frequently. So that doesn't mean every marker, every makeup piece, every spice, etc. The ones that you do leave out, it's best to corral them for a cleaner look. And for everything goes that if it hasn't been touched in about 2 days, I would say maybe clean it up. Leave room for spontaneous use of other items. Look, sometimes we get so used to our own spaces and patterns that we don't even recognize what's too cluttered or too tidy anymore. Things like mental health, workload, and lifestyles can play a big role in this too. Again, this is not to shame or judge anyone. It's just a guideline for anyone who wants to have a comfortable home for themselves and their guests. Pay attention when you're in other homes to note what does and doesn't make you comfortable for a fresh perspective. And of course, if you have any experience to share, I would love to read about them in the comments so we can all learn from them. Remember that magazine spreads, 80 house tours, and sometimes even Pinterest photos are not only not realistic, but they wouldn't even put people at ease, at least not in that state. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful to anyone seeking balance between life-induced clutter and maybe overly tidy cleanliness. Remember, you don't live in a museum, but you also don't live in a pigeon's nest. At least, I hope not. If you do, you might want to watch some of my previous videos. Good luck. As you may notice, I am fairly new to YouTube and I'm just starting out. So if you enjoyed this video, it would mean so much to me if you wanted to check out my channel and maybe subscribe, or even just leave a like or comment. Thank you so much, and hopefully see you very soon. Meow.